live. We
And
are
now,
live.
and now we are live. It says, "Welcome everybody. It's Silver Linings Podcast. I'm Adam, and with my uncle Rex. We told you we would start doing podcasts on the first of each month, whatever day it lands on. So here it is, Friday, right in the middle of the afternoon in Arizona, and here we go. Um, for the podcast today, apparently, we're going to talk about Lori for a little bit and whatever questions you guys have with all the things that are going on in life. And then we'll also hear from comments that were made on our Facebook page apparently today as well, or the last couple days. Rex posted some questions, and people on Facebook had things to say about it. We have Cami, who was a accountable protege, who's going to be doing some moderating with us today, along with Missy. So we want to thank Missy and Cami for both helping moderate. I know last live that we had, Missy had to kick a few people out or block a few people. Hopefully that doesn't happen today. So we'll see how it goes. But we do like to be positive. We like to have good questions. We're not hiding from anything, so that's not has anything to do with that. But if you've ever watched our podcast, this is a safe place for a lot of people who like to heal or like to feel accepted, and so that's kind of where our podcast is going today. Anything else with that, Rex?
Lynn Sass is catching the first time live. She's always
Oh,
been in the replay crew, and she's catching it live. So welcome to that. I imagine there's some others. Nancy Morales is glad to be here.
so
So
Lynn, Fridays are better. Friday nights are better than Saturday nights for you. Okay, that's good.
okay,
Good. We'll note that.
okay. But yeah, it's funny, Adam, about the comments on Facebook. I put the question that we wanted to hear comments on for this live, but about 49 of y'all just couldn't wait till Friday till the live. So you put your comments on Facebook, and they were great comments on there, and it's all opinion because we can't see into Lori's mind and heart, and so we don't know exactly why she's doing what she's doing. We're just speculating. But about 49 of you wanted to speculate before even the live came up. So we like to participate. Of a common, I guess, a common enemy is the way you describe it. No one said anything nice about her. We wouldn't expect anyone to after what she's done. But a lot of people have an opinion on it. Adam, let's start with yours. The question is, with Lori wanting to represent herself, do you think that's because she's still delusional, or is she being manipulative, or is she just evil, or is it something else?
Just knowing her patterns from her last trial, which was she didn't want to help her defense. She didn't want to tell her defense anything. I think that she really thinks that she's a martyr in her mind. She's a martyr. And so she wants to say and do what she wants to say and do. And I don't think that she liked the last trial where her attorneys didn't probably say what she wanted to say. Now, when she spoke at her last trial and actually spoke, it enraged a lot of people, including Rex. Rex got super mad. A lot of people got mad at what she said. So the problem, I think, that being in a delusion, to my opinion is, I think at this point, I think that she is delusional. I think that she's doing this for a purpose. I still think there is some purpose that she thinks that she did all this stuff she's done so far for this, whatever reason or whatever her test in life is, or her mission in life that she's been called to. And so that's my thinking of what her thought is, that she doesn't really need an attorney because she's doing this for God, and God's got her back in her mind, I think.
Yeah, and so most of us would describe that as being delusional because we don't really think that God's um, has chosen her, called her, appeared to her, is guiding her in any way, shape, or form. So we call that delusional. But I've been since this whole thing started, I've been looking at. I'm not a psychologist, although for one of my degrees I had to take a lot of psychology classes. I'm
Did
not.
you?
Yeah, I did. I took more psychology than educational classes for a master, one of my masters in education. But I don't claim any insights by taking classes in school. But the one I think I've gained more of an education just having to go to so many counselors so often to deal with what we're dealing with now.
Right.
Probably more of a real time education. But I'm not real um, tied to the technical definitions that come out of psychology because they move and change and people use them so wildly differently. What's delusional to one person's different than another person. I know there's a book in the psychology world that's supposed to contain all of them. That's why I've always liked the description of what they did and consequently who they are is just evil, no matter what other title you want to put on it. It's just evil. And for me, any other titles are just subjective to that one big title. This is evil. This is what evil looks like, whether you want to call it delusion or narcissism or any other title.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people weighing in here.
Well, one thought is going back real quick with if
Okay.
when Lori defends herself, if that's allowed, if she does, I don't know what the situation will be. But again, Lori, and I think in Lori's mind, she thinks that she's doing this for the Lord. So I'm sure that you're going to hear if she does defend herself, a lot of the same things, and she'll mention, well, Jesus also went to jail. And she's going to use, I think that she'll try to use Bible verses and switch them around. Or I really feel like if she's going to defend herself, it's going to gear towards any of that. It's going to have nothing to do with her case. And somebody just asked if I'm going to be like, if I was on the stand being a witness for the prosecution, would I be able to handle her asking me questions? Uh, that's I guess a loaded question. We'll find out if that happens.
Yeah, that is Chalita's question here. Chalita Tippins asked Adam, if Lori defends herself, she'll be questioning witnesses like you and Brandon. I don't know if Brandon will be, well, depending on which trial we're talking about. I think we're talking about the
Charles's trial or Brandon's trial?
Yeah, I don't know which one, but Brandon could be there for Charles's trial, but at least for his trial. How in the
Yeah.
world would you be able to prepare for that? I'm sure it would be a crazy spectacle. And I agree with that, but I just can't imagine that the judge would allow her to defend herself for several reasons. This
Well,
being,
yeah, I hope he doesn't, because I can imagine, she accused me of doing everything that she was doing. She accused Charles of everything she was doing. She was like, if you know that whole pattern of that whole thing with Charles, Lori would say Charles was having an affair when she was actually having an affair. Lori said Adam's trying to kill me, even though she was trying to get me killed. So Lori was, whatever was she was going through in her life, she was blaming other people, saying that they were doing that. So I don't know what kind of delusion that is, but if that gets to court and she goes down that route, that's, I don't know, like, how could a judge allow somebody who's, well, that's why she's being evaluated. So I don't know, if she passes the evaluation like she did before, I just hope the psychiatrist can really read through her.
yeah, I'm
Because
pretty.
the one in Arizona let her go when Charles told her to go get, made her get exam, and she passed with flying colors and walked out of there. I'm like, how is this possible? I thought that these are professionals. And this is a psychiatrist that wasn't a defense or a prosecution. There was no political thing behind it. This was just somebody random before Lori even went to trial or was accused of anything. So this is what I have lack of faith in a lot of professional things. I know the majority of people are great at what they do, but the few that aren't and they perform and then they give you the results that aren't what you want. I just sounded, never mind. That I feel like it to me, I just lose faith in a lot of different professions.
Yeah, well, context helps a lot with that when you're talking psychology. For example, the first one she went to, they only did a couple hours, and so you can't use any of the tools that you normally use as a psychologist, the evaluation tools. It's just someone talking, and Adam, Lori could pull off 2 hours of just talking with someone. You say, oh, she sounds pretty normal.
Yeah, but aren't psychiatrists, if somebody says somebody's crazy, can't psychiatrists like in 2 hours define, like, know the questions to ask or read people's body language? Or is there, I mean, I would think that they would be qualified to do that. I don't know what that would even look like though.
No, that's not part of psychology. And
okay,
the person has to act crazy to show that they're crazy in that 2 hours. But your point is valid about professionals. Not all professions are what they appear. As Lindsay reminds us, Adam, she doesn't trust professional pickleball players.
What? Why wouldn't you trust professional pickleball players? They got to be professional for a reason. You can't just show up on the court one day and be like, oh, I'm ready to play in the pro division. Are you kidding, Lindsay, with that question? Please.
Not a question, just an observation.
Okay. Lindsay's never seen me play pickleball. That's why.
Okay. Well, I have, and I believe you're professional.
Yeah.
Pearl's Dream says, in my opinion, Lori's all three. That means delusional. What were the three we said? Delusional, wicked,
yeah.
and what was the third one? I'm the one that said it. Now,
criminal or
manipulative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Pearl. In fact, the more I think about it, with Lori making this move, my opinion of delusion has changed. I viewed Lori as unable to get out of her delusion. And for the reasons we've said, Adam, many times you and I have both said, if she faced the real reality, she wouldn't be able to exist.
Yeah.
I believe the delusion allows her to exist. And I think she knows darn good and well she killed the kids and that it's a lie, etc. And the delusion is just how you deal with the cognitive dissonance and how you deal with other people about it. In your own mind, you've already dealt with it and said, I made these choices, I'm fine. But the delusion is to try to suck in the other people. That's my current belief. It's obviously a moving target.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see what Nancy Morales says. Always have good comments from Nancy. I watched Brandon's lives with Lori. I don't know what that is.
You mean probably Colby's? She probably meant Colby's.
Oh yeah, that could be. I watched Colby's live.
Me, Brandon, and Colby all look alike. We all get mistaken for each other all the time. And Colby's the youngest of us all.
I haven't called you Alex for a long time.
That's true too.
No one's called me Alex.
And I haven't called you Alex, so that's good.
Anyway, back to Nancy. She said, and honestly, I believe this is an attempt to live her purpose through narration. Agree with Adam. Well, I think she is delusional. I do believe she's competent. Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think she's competent not only in the context of to stand trial, but competent to know right and wrong and when it's time to lie and what lie to tell.
Right. Yeah. The lying, Rex and I, when we wrote this book, we were trying to find a title for the book that we wrote. And I was really, it took me like 3 days contemplating on, okay, So what's the main purpose of what's happened to us and all this? And it all came down to Lori telling lies to different people so nobody could connect the dots. So when we named this book Lori's Lies and Family Ties, we're all tied to all Lori's lies. So Lori's still continuing to lie.
Yeah, you nailed it with that title. That's just genius.
Yeah,
That's
because
beautiful.
that's what this whole thing came down to. So, anyways, I think with Lori, yes, lying about, obviously now that made a lot of people mad that she was talking how the kids died and all that stuff. Obviously, that's a lie. But I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like Rex said, there's so many moving pieces with her, and that's why she's so mental. Is because she's in like 20 different directions. And look, I know that some people are good at multitasking, but that's going above and beyond for multitasking.
Yeah, that is mental. So Beth Gaither says, and I don't know this, Adam. Maybe you know. Is Lori on medication, or has she refused that?
I know that when Lori went to the mental institution when she was in Idaho, and she was there for I think 8 months, she hated it because they kept giving her this medication. So when she went back to prison, she doesn't get that medication anymore. She got to feel herself, apparently. So I don't think in jail you take any medication. If you go to a mental institution, it's required that you take it, which from what I understand, that's one of the big reasons Lori doesn't want to go to a mental institution. She wants to be in jail.
Oh, okay.
So if that's, I don't know if yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we get asked this quite a lot recently, Adam. Do you guys in the family still have a relationship with Colby? Do you speak to him?
I love Colby and I support Colby 100%, whatever he does. Yes, we have a relationship. I don't know where it's going or what it's doing. A lot of people in our family have strained relationships with everybody. It's so weird how you could talk to somebody, but then don't feel comfortable talking to somebody else, where the other person feels comfortable talking to that person, but not this person. It's really a weird dynamic in our family. And, with Colby, apparently he doesn't want me talking about him on our podcast. So I'm not going to refer to Colby on this podcast.
Okay. And Colby and I've never lived where Colby's lived. We've never been close. I love Colby, and when we have a family event, we're at the same place. They're very positive. I wouldn't say I have I never just called him up and said, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on?" So I don't have that type of relationship with him, but I'd love to see him, love to talk to him, and just be supportive of him. We all want the best for him. Everyone, the family, strained or not, everyone wants the best everyone loves Colby and wants the best for him. That was from Jessam. I didn't mention the
Jessam. What name is Jessam?
Jessem.
Is that a guy? Is that a guy or a girl?
Well, by the picture, it doesn't look like a guy. It's
Let's not go down this road.
Okay. I just right there. Thank you. Thank you, Eat the Food, Tina. She reminded us that the current psychological Bible is called the DSM-5, TR. DSM-5, it's the 5th version of it. Started as a pamphlet. Now it's a huge, thick book. So that's the word on that. Thank you for that update and insight. And Carrie Ann, we haven't heard from Carrie Ann for a while.
Where have you been, Carrie Ann?
Yeah.
Maybe Saturday. Maybe Saturday's not her jam. Maybe Friday's her jam.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah.
Carrie Ann asks, what's your opinion on why you think, I believe this is the Wyoming Carrie Ann, or Idaho Carrie Ann, not the Salt Lake Carrie Ann. Remember, I had those two.
Yes,
still do, apparently.
You still do, apparently.
This is the Idaho.
We've met one, not the other.
Adam, what's your opinion on why you think Lori wants to represent herself? Do you think it's just to defend her religious thinking, or is it so she can put pressure and manipulate on the witnesses?
Maybe a little bit of both. In my heart, and I always go with my gut instinct, knowing Lori, thinking that she's a martyr and Jesus represented himself in jail. I'm sure in my mind, I feel like she wants to be like Jesus and she wants to represent herself like Jesus. So I feel if she ever got a chance to do that, it would be, you would hear stuff that, I think you would hear scripture. That's all you would hear is like just that kind of stuff. That's my opinion. That's why I think she wants to defend herself. I don't think she cares about her attorneys. Chad obviously hired some guy, and what's his name? Who is the guy that represented Chad? I forget his name.
Quickly we forget. I did too.
I know. But anyways, so Chad went a whole different route. Chad was like, "Oh, I need to get off. I need to do this." I don't think Lori is in that frame of mind. So and she doesn't want to help her attorneys do anything. So it's a head scratcher for sure. But the reasons why, those are my reasons why I think that she would want to represent herself. She thinks that someday that she's getting out of all this, and this is all God's plan.
Just sad and scary all at the same time.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for responding. She's a girl, and the name is Emily and Jesse together.
Love it.
That's the name. So
love it. Thank you.
On the name.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I like when people put names together and you're like, how did you come up with this? Well, there's half of my name here, and this is half of their name there.
Yeah.
So we would be addicts, me and Rex together, or Radom. Redum. How about Redum? Redam.
Redum. Jessam says it's my boyfriend Jeffy and my name Emily together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Black Widder, not widow. Black White Widder. I think Lori wants to be the MC. All eyes on her. A lot of people have that opinion that she loves to be in the limelight, which we've said she does love to be in the limelight. I don't know if that's the case here, but I'm sure there's
that's like Rex says, there's moving pieces. That may be one of the many things that are part of it. I don't think you're right. I don't think there's just one thing. I think there's probably several components in her head why she would want to do that.
So Tammy Morgan asks, Adam, how is your mom? So much tragedy for a mama to deal with. This is the most frequently asked question about Janice, even amongst you and I, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talk about, what my mom has been through in her lifetime, and not just with Lori and Alex, but before Lori and Alex, and then Lori and Alex having to deal with that. It's more than one person should be able to handle. And so I'm amazed that my mom gets out of bed every day, like literally amazed that she can continue functioning after what she's been through. So, but as far as how she's doing, she's waking up every day and going about her day, and she's alive, and she's, I guess doing as good as somebody could. And, my mom, and I talk about this in the book, I felt like my mom is one of the most positive people I've ever met in my whole life. Like, she loves everybody. If she met you, she would give you a big hug and want to get to know you. So super kind, like one of the most kindest people I've ever met. So, it's going to be hard for me to see her. A few times she's had some bad moments, and that's to be expected. So overall, I would say that she's doing great for where she's at and what she's been through and what she still has to go through. And she's still optimistic and she's still positive about life, which, many of us would have already, turned in our papers at this point.
Yeah, and just the description, which is so good, Adam, is that once in a while she's had a few difficult moments. Can you imagine? Most of us would be curled up in the fetal position in a corner our entire life going through that. And Ben had an observation too when he was on once. Your cousin Ben, of course. I'm talking
Yeah.
about Connor. And he said the Cox family is where all the love was and all the fun. And all the love was a description of everyone that went there. Janice would go overboard. And so her daughters would also, Lori and Summer, especially Lori, just over, oh, honey, you look beautiful. And just all the positivity in the world poured over everyone. And you took it a little bit as well. Janice is always positive and would say nice things about, whatever, but
Mm.
she's so sincere about it. She's so consistent her entire life. So
Yeah.
you had a hard time just passing it off like, oh, she's not really sincere, because she is always like that
Yeah.
to everyone, just looking positively. So I think that has served her well, that positivity and whatever that built up inside of her.
Yeah, however that goes on the inside has carried her through what she's gone through as a mother, a wife, all those things. It's really been she's had some hard things in her life.
Okay. We were talking a lot about family dynamics. I didn't put this up before, but it fit right in when Fiona said it. The true crime fix Fiona. I think we can all relate to family dynamics. It's normal. And that's when she said that at or wrote that when you were saying, it's strange how you can have a strained relationship with one person, but they don't feel they have one with you, but they do with someone else that you don't have a strained relationship with. First time I've heard that explained like that, Adam, but it's so true. And those relationships don't get strained like from an argument or a confrontation. You just perceive that they're strained, and so you act that way, and then you talk it out or you have positive interaction. You say, well, that's not as strained as I thought, but then you go a long time and without seeing the person, you say, well, maybe it is strained. It's just a strange dynamic. So
Yeah.
saying there's a degree of normal to that. Thank you.
And I think also lack of communication. One of the main things, the reason that, we wrote this book, it was because I wanted families that would sweep things under the rug or look the other way or not investigate a claim that somebody made in the family, or and it probably has happened to every family. So one of my main purposes of writing the book that Rex and I wrote was, if somebody in the family claims something or says something that seems unusual, instead of taking somebody's word for it, investigate it, ask questions, put two people together that have the feud or whatever it is, and ask a bunch of questions and let everybody see and what makes common sense, what makes more sense. Somebody that's, and obviously the person who's lying will be trying to convince somebody, but the person who's not lying will point everything out that they're lying about and be able to back it up. So I think once families start communicating better to each other and holding people accountable for things that they're saying, then we can get some real healing and not have tragedies like what happened in my family happen. Not saying that would stop Lori from going off with Chad and doing whatever, but at least everybody would be on the same page, knowing, okay, this is, instead of breaking everything, our whole family got divided because of all Lori's lies and nobody in the family wanted to check out anything. So I didn't want other families to go through that. One of the main reasons I wrote that. So communication is huge.
I support that, of course, Adam, but I will make allowance just so people realize how normal our family dynamics are, as Fiona is describing. I've talked things through with some family members, some rifts there, but there's still an unspoken residual. And that's when it becomes the elephant in the room. Okay, we talked about it. We see each other's perspective. We may not agree. We're fine with it. We can still be with each other. We can still interact because we don't talk about it anymore.
Right.
That's the elephant in the room. Let's get together, but let's not talk about this because we know where each other stands. We don't need to talk through it anymore. It would could possibly become confrontational. So there is some residual, even with the best of intentions. And those are the proverbial things that come out over Thanksgiving dinner, I think, that people talk about.
Well, yeah, there's been some Thanksgiving dinners where things got heated in conversation at family Thanksgiving tables, and so, but at least it's all out in the open. Everybody can have their opinion at that point.
Yep. Yep. That's a normal family thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Barbara Brown says, TGIF, Rex and Adam, hope you all had a good week. I have. I can't imagine what it must be like when there's news about the latest delusional thing she said that appears in the news. Thanks for chatting it over. First of all, Barbara, thank you. This is, as we've said many times, a form of therapy for me and Adam, be able to come here with you in a good, positive, loving environment and process with y'all, talk it through. We appreciate that, first of all. But it shouldn't surprise me now, but it still surprises me. We went so long without any news, and I didn't realize until news came out, and that heavy feeling just jumps right back, how much I was enjoying not having that heavy feeling, having to process something.
Yeah.
And, Adam and I have each other. We have other family members. Lisa is tremendous with that. My daughters, sometimes they want to process, sometimes they don't, but they're always loving and supportive. So
believe it or not, I don't really follow along. Like I don't have any notifications on my phone that pop up about Lori.
Nothing.
So I don't, you guys know way more about the case and all that stuff than I do. My mom at some point sent me a text and goes, well, obviously you heard about Lori, so call me, let's talk about it. And I was like, obviously I have no idea what you're talking about. So then I had to call my mom and her tell me what was happening with Lori. So, yeah, I think for me, following the case, like you guys follow the case, I've never followed it, to be honest with you. I don't know any stories. I don't know podcasts that talk about it. I don't know, I've gone on court TV a bunch of times to answer their questions. I've been on, TV shows sometimes answering their questions, but it has I've been on TV where they're asking me questions that I had no idea about. So I just give them my personal feeling of what I think Lori thought or what I think why she did that. But yeah, I think part of my therapy is not knowing what's going on all the time. And I just try to live my life normal. Obviously this is part of my life, but I don't spend hours or days researching it or finding things or anything like that. So that's kind of just how I am and how I deal with it. And obviously I talked last podcast about me going to court and, talking and having to, if I have to go to court in Arizona, if Lori has a trial that comes up, that, I'd never wanted to do that, but maybe by doing it, that will be more therapy for me to do it. I avoid it.
You are just flat out muted, Adam. I don't know what you said that offended the gods of the microphone, but there you go.
I think they just want me to shut up. Okay, the producer just put on my phone. Go ahead, next question. We're ready.
Okay. Well, you've said before that Barry's just an enigma. We don't talk much about him. BS says, let's not forget your father. We're talking about your mother. Anything to say about Barry?
Yeah, my dad's been through a lot too in his life. Growing up, he didn't grow up in a great situation. And my dad was a little harder around the edges growing up, and so, but yeah, he's different than other people. But he's gone through so much, like with his kids and what he went through with his parents, just how they were. And but yeah, he doesn't really talk a lot about stuff. He kind of holds things to himself. So, and there's people who are like that. That's how he's built. I'm built more about talking and opening up and stuff. And but there's been moments and times in his life where he's opened up and cried to me and stuff like that. So he's been through a lot too. So I'm not really sure. He doesn't really like to talk about all this stuff a lot. Maybe he tries to avoid it like I do at times.
Mhm. A lot of times. Teresa asks, Rex, isn't Janice your sister? Yes, she is, in fact. My brothers will do anything and everything to protect me. What are your feelings from a sibling standpoint? Janice is 9 years older than me, so I was never in the role of big protective brother, really. But we've been the closest of my siblings. I feel like I'm close to all my siblings, but Janice and I have been the closest. Lived the closest. I hung out a lot there at the house, during Adam's early years before I went off to college. And so I've always felt close to her. And this has been, this has been rough because those dynamics I was describing were a lot of them were with Janice that we talk things through. We can still talk, but there's some areas we've talked them through, but we don't agree. And we aren't going to agree, so we talk about other things. So I don't love her any less. I still love her. I feel loved by her. So, but there are just some things I can't do to protect her in this environment because the whole world has collapsed around her, and I just admire how well she's handling that. Thanks for asking about that, though. Get to talk about me a little bit. Diane Van said, I think many people keep secrets thinking they're protecting the privacy of the person or family. Well, we sure intentionally keep secrets, or there are things that we don't talk about because we respect the wishes of our family. So in that sense, I guess, Adam, we're keeping secrets too, protecting people's privacy.
Well, I wouldn't say they're secrets. Because secrets to me are like, oh, if you know something that can get somebody in a lot of trouble, or then those are the kind of things that we talked about with family. Is like, if family doesn't want to be mentioned, or they don't want us to talk about their personal life or whatever. But when you talk about secrets, oh, I saw somebody kill somebody. Oh, you're going to hold that secret. So, I mean, secrets are weird when you say the word.
Don't have those secrets.
No, like secrets are, to me, are like more like that kind of stuff than it would be, not mentioning somebody or saying something to somebody.
So the dirt about your dating life that I don't bring up, those aren't secrets. They're just, I don't bring them up out of respect.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because it's so bland.
That could be what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Black Witter. I say things to my sister when she's magical, thinking that I never would have because of you guys. I'm not sure what that means because she's magical, but I'm going to take this as a compliment to you and I, Adam, that
okay.
A Black Witter doesn't say things because they think of us, and maybe she means when she's manic or something, but
when she wants to say something about somebody else and she doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it like that because then that's complimenting us, and I always take things as a compliment.
Let me take that. Let me take that and run with it.
So thank you, Black Witter.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard in families too. There's so many dynamics in families: brothers, kids, adult kids, parents, uncles, aunts, cousins. We have it all. Everybody has it all in their family. Mm-hmm. And how to deal with it all. I mean, it doesn't mean you don't love everybody in your family. But there's some people in your family that you just can't be around because of how they are. And so I know some people feel guilty about that. Other people, keep getting hurt by the same family member over and over again because they love them, there's a lot of people who I think on the outside feel, appear fine, but on the inside, they cry their eyes out, during the daytime. And there's a lot of there, and that's not just family. That's just, I think, relationships. There's all everything in life. You sometimes you can't judge a book by its cover.
Oh, that's a good positive phrase. I love this, Joy Phillips. Prayers for your family going through this difficult time. I saw this post, and maybe it was on our community Facebook page. But when someone says prayers for your family, I'm like the post said. I'm not thinking that they're talking religion. I'm thinking they love the person they're talking to. Like Joy's expressing love for us. They love us and they want the best for us. I'm not
Yeah.
thinking she's trying to talk to me about religion. And I'm hoping the post. I can't remember the who posted it or the person that the quote came from may have been saying they weren't even religious. Like maybe they don't even believe in God, but they're okay with someone saying prayers for you because it means I love you and I care about you and want the best for you.
Mhm.
And yeah, not conflating that with trying to talk about religion in a negative context. Tammy Morgan says communication is key. Respond to what you said, Adam.
Yeah.
Is key because perception is not always reality. Boy, isn't that? We can get big amen from everyone on that one, I bet.
Yeah, you hear there's always two sides to a story when you go through a divorce or you and your friends have a disagreement of something or whatever. There's always two sides. Perspective is everything. Communicating and then perspective is everything with trying to work things out.
I think Lori's taught us that sometimes there are 4 or 5 sides to a story.
Apparently there could be like with Chad, once he gets called on a lie, he adds another lie. So it could be up to a 10x lie.
Yeah.
Go
How
down a
many
10x
versions
lie.
of Alex shooting Charles did we hear the first 2 days?
Yeah, exactly.
There were at least 5 sides of that story.
Yeah,
So, but I digress.
exactly. Yeah.
Nancy Morales, do you know the dynamic of the elephant in the room? It really speaks to the depth of the ability to love unconditionally. We're going to have to hear more about that, and she's the next comment. So let me put the next one up from Nancy
Oh,
Morales. Adam, the thing about unconditional love is that it doesn't require an ongoing relationship. That's very true. But it allows us to fully accept people for who they are and live the boundaries. I love that perspective, Nancy.
yeah. Unconditional love is like obviously they're a family member. You've been around them your whole life. Um, and like we all say, blood is thicker than water. Um, but for me, unconditional love is like a dog. A dog, you come home and a dog unconditionally loves you, tails wagging, wants to hug you, loves that you're there, does not care what you did that day. No matter what bad thing you did, you come home, your dog just loves you unconditionally. And so, which is by the way why I want 2 dogs. But I need double love when I come home. But yes, I totally agree. Like Rex said, putting boundaries on things is one thing, but try to love. Just in my mind, trying to live like Jesus or be the best person you can. Love everybody for who they are. But if there's somebody that it's hurting you or you can't be around, then yes, love them and pray for them, whatever you want to do. But sometimes you just can't be around those people.
Love's unconditional, relationships are not, is a great saying I
Yeah.
have adopted. So Brenda asked this question, Brenda Folda. So Lori's going to get rid of her attorneys and she's going to do it on her own. I think that's what she petitioned the court to do. And it came out the same time that her attorneys requested the court to have her psychologically evaluated.
Maybe
And
that's
so,
why. Maybe that's
yeah,
why.
and I read speculation about that. I don't know that the reason was public or the timing between those two, but that's what it sounds like, Brenda. Like she wants to do that. And I've got to say this: Lori is not known as the scholar in the family. Even within her family. And so, for her to think that she could deal with legal issues, I mean, let's face reality. As a criminal, she's an idiot. So's Chad. So's Alex. Look what they did as criminals. are those not some of the stupidest criminals alive? Killing the children is beyond reprehensible. We don't have words bad enough for it. But then you bury them in Chad's yard. How bright are these people? And she wants to be her own attorney. She has no background in law other than her father's pretended to be attorney several times in his life.
Right.
Those are other stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't even imagine that thought process.
So I wonder, did Lori have a conversation with her attorneys where attorneys were like, hey, we want to get you psych eval? And she's like, no, I don't want to do that because I don't want to go back to the mental institution. And then they're like, well, we want you to do that. And she's like, no, you're not going to be my attorneys anymore. I have the right to, who knows? I mean, who knows how that whole thing went down? I just know before in the trial in Idaho, Lori didn't help her attorneys at all. She tried to do everything possible not to help them because they were trying to throw Chad on the bus and Lori wouldn't let them do that. So, or I don't know, let them do that. But the attorneys there's no skin in the game for the Lori's attorneys. They're appointed to her. They could be appointed to other cases and work on other cases. So it's not like they're making a ton of money trying to defend Lori.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, and
it's got to be a headache.
And again, we don't know her thinking behind it. We're just wildly speculating today on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lori, I've got to put this up from Lori Baker. I'm sure Lori's offended that Lori spells her name the same way. Lori Ballard spells hers the same way.
How many times can you spell Lori? Lauri or Lori?
She says, I'm just getting on, but if Lori starts her opening with the Bible and preaching her case with scriptures and continues as in a sermon, what do you think the state or judge will do? Shut her down? I hope so. I do not want to hear any more of that.
Well, that's the thing. And I think she wants a chance to say stuff like that. And her attorney, if she's not her own attorney, she's not going to get a chance to do that. So what's the judge going to say? No, this case is closed. You're going to jail. We're like, what would the judge do? Lori doesn't care. I'm sure she doesn't care.
But think about this, Adam. I don't know how thoroughly I believe that, because she had the chance to do that in her trial, to say whatever she wanted before the verdicts were.
And what came out of her mouth? Those things, right?
She said no.
Yeah.
Okay. She didn't want to say anything, want to test. See, and that's another reason I don't think she's the type of delusional that some of us think about, that she's locked in with no other thoughts. I think she realized that, nope, can't do it right now because I haven't gotten sentenced yet. So I think she knew pretty much, no, I can't say what I want to say right now. I want to go on this ridiculous rant. And she got to do that for the sentencing when it was all too late.
Yeah.
Not when she'd be cross-examined, etc. So she's calculating, she's manipulating. And I just hope it doesn't happen, is my thought on that. Oh, I like this quick break in our comments here about Lori Blackwitter. I'm probably saying that wrong. If you want to correct my pronunciation, please do that.
Witter. It sounds weird though, huh? Witter.
Yeah. So many great people in here. Isn't that the truth? There are so many great people in this community and people commenting. But again, I want to say most of the people that participate in this podcast do it anonymously. They aren't watching the podcast, they're listening to it. We love y'all too. Just because you choose not to comment or you don't comment later, we know you're there. We appreciate it. And you're part of the great people that Witter's the only way I can think of to pronounce that. But you're part of the great people that that's referencing.
Hopefully she didn't get stung by a black widow twice. Witter-erd. She got it twice.
Moving on, Gina asks, do you know if Lori and Chad still have contact with each other? Adam, do you know that? I don't.
I don't know that. I don't know how that works in jail. If they want to, or if they don't want to, or if they will be allowed to talk to each other. I don't know if that. I don't think that's going down. My personal thought is I don't think so.
Yeah, don't know on that one. I guess we can ask and try to find out. See, when we are talking with y'all, we don't spend a lot of time on this subject because it is difficult. It's emotionally difficult. So we don't spend, and again, with family members, sometimes awkward. So we don't spend a lot of time. So we appreciate you asking the questions and giving us things to think about.
Yeah.
Nancy Morales asks, Adam, the thing about unconditional love is that it doesn't require we already read that one. Okay. But it's a great thought, Nancy, and we appreciate it, darn it.
I'd like to relive it. Let us relive it a few more times.
Reliving that one. Let me here's kind of a funny question, given what I said, from Lynn Sass. Do you think Lori discussed being her own attorney with your dad? Will he be able to guide her?
Yeah, right. I doubt it.
I wonder if they've talked. I know Janice talked with Lori quite a bit at different.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I don't think that they do talk.
Are we boring you, Adam?
Sorry. No, you're not boring me.
Okay.
Just once in a while, I'll yawn.
Okay, so let's talk about family dynamics more. Ms. Waggy Dog, I believe it's perfectly fine to cut people off, even family members, when you've reached a toxic point of no return. I haven't seen my brother in 15 years and I had no regrets. Love, Donna. Yeah, that's relationship. My belief is relationships are conditional. And why would you want a toxic relationship that drains you instead of helps you or helps someone?
Don't you realize, do you think this, maybe this is me, but as you get older, you start to shed all the people in your life that you don't want to spend your time with. You realize how important your time is. And then you just start spending your time with people that are positive or that you like to be around. And that you just don't waste time with people that bring you down or are negative. I just feel as you get older in life, those are things like people that I used to hang out with, or people that, but just like, yeah, let's do this. And you're standing there like, why am I here? What am I doing? Why, and then you're like, I should be doing this, or I could be doing this. And so as you get older, I think you're just more bolder and you just realize how important time is. So you just want to spend your time on earth or the rest of your life with people that are positive, things that are beneficial for you. So I just feel like we realize that as we go further and further in life.
Time and energy is all you have. I am completely down with that. In fact, I say in my life, I try to guide myself. I have 3 sandboxes. In other words, 3 places I can spend time. And if I'm not in one of those 3 sandboxes, I'm wasting time. And I've got my defined purposes for my life. That's one of those sandboxes: being healthy and enjoying healthy relationships, which consequently means avoiding unhealthy relationships. So I'm right there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's good.
And Lori Baker says, hey, Rex, I'm older than Lori Daybell. I had the name first. Okay, so she's claiming rights to the spelling, I guess, of Lori. Okay, gotcha. I get that. Oh, Jessen, that's a nice thought. Jessen says, it's nice when podcast hosts actually take the time to read the questions. Thank you for that. And
why are there podcasts that don't do that?
Well, we feel we have to, because as I mentioned, so many people are listening to the podcast, not watching it. They can't read the questions. So
true.
We need to do that too. And plus we like to, the whole name thing and give recognition and just connect with y'all. Any way we can connect is positive. Black Witter says, you are correctly pronouncing my online nonsense name. LOL. Okay. Very good. Black Witter is what we're.
Somebody mentioned, I'm just reading the other comments that are going that aren't starred for the thing, is somebody mentioned that did Lori and Chad still talk? If Chad's on death row, I don't think he can take phone calls. Like
Oh,
once you go on death row, that might be a rule that one of the consequences of being on death row is that you can't take phone calls. I don't know. Maybe that is something.
I love
Can you
that
have
rule.
can you have visitors?
I love that rule. I hope. Well, your attorney, I guess, but I don't know.
Or can family members go visit? That's weird, huh?
Mm-hmm. Kaiko K says, just noticed that Justin Lum, we love Justin Lum, just got a new doc that Lori has 3 new court-appointed attorneys who filed a request to withdraw the request for the mental competency exam because they need to look through docs. Boy, if she got new attorneys, yeah, they're going to be looking through docs for quite a while. So
Lucky them.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, good grief. That's good income for quite a while doing that.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, and thank you, Justin Lum, for that. On a lighter note, so let's get this up from Gina. On a lighter note, how's your accountable business going, Adam? I hope well. Right? Any new books on the horizon? My answer is quick. No. Adam, how about you?
No new books. Come on, Rex. Everybody wants us to do one more book.
Yeah.
My accountable business is getting off the ground. I try to help people that want to achieve goals. In my life, I've achieved a lot of goals. I figured a formula that can help people achieve goals. That's why one of the only reasons I started doing this accountable is because a friend of mine showed me the way, helped me achieve so many goals in my life. And we put our combination of how I've done it with before I met him and then things that he helped me with. And we put it to a formula that is it's really positive and works. So if you know anybody that wants to learn how or wants to achieve any goals, yes, I would love to have you as a client. Reach out to me and I can get you in to be one of our people in accountable.
Very good. Paula Jonas says there are 3 sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth.
True. Okay. Yes, that's true too. Yes.
That is.
Yeah. But after you hear one side and the other side, you kind of make you have to make a third side of the truth. You have to figure out what does that look like.
Yep. One of the tough things in life. Fiona McCumhale. Fionn, not Fiona. Fionn McCumhale. Okay, I'm going with that. Last I heard of Summer was when she confronted Lori on the phone. Can or will you give us an update on Summer? Can we do that, Adam? We respect Summer. Sometimes doesn't like it, but
I don't know what would you want to know about Summer? How's she doing? I think she's like the rest of us. We're all trying to live our lives and go forward. And Summer's been through hell, so.
Without details, she's had some great immediate family things in her life lately.
Yeah.
So that's positive.
I will tell you, Summer does have a great sense of humor, though. She sends me TikTok videos all the time. And I send her video stuff all the time. We laugh at so many things. So in that case, yes, she's doing as good as I think she could do.
Very good. Gina agrees with you, Adam. Quality over quantity. I think that was a relationship thing.
Oh, with your time? Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. As we wrap up here, we're about a minute away. Griffin 2263 says, you guys are very engaging with people in the live chat, which makes for more interesting live. It's very interesting to us. We love it, don't we, Adam? Adam and I are both that way.
Yeah, I'm curious about people just in general. I was radio for 30 years. I interviewed so many people. I think my natural nature is interested in people. And when I talk to people about their lives, a lot of people share their lives with me. I really believe that everybody could write a book about their life. And it would be very interesting for people to read because of what other people have gone through in their lives. Maybe I should do that for a living. Help people write their own book, their own life book. I mean, when I did that, my first book was about my radio life, and it obviously it had my personal life in it too. But I feel like everybody has stories to tell.
Well, you told him very well. That was a very enjoyable book to read, called My Crazy Radio Life.
Yeah, I think that's one of my. I'm a storyteller, so I can help people as they want to tell stories about their lives or what they're mentioning. I think I could help people with that.
Okay, so thank you, Finn, for the pronunciation. I like to get the pronunciation right, and I was not even in the right hemisphere.
Did you
The
screw that
name is
up?
pronounced Finn McCool. It's the name of an
McCool,
Irish
so
folk hero.
cool.
An Irish folk hero. So
nice.
Very good. Thanks for clearing that. And I thought I'd end with this comment. Adam, again, thank our moderators, Cami and Missy. Cami's first time, did a great job here.
Yes.
The last comment from Janet Bradley, not to sound sappy, this podcast is uplifting because kindness is the norm. Thank you for that. I so enjoy hearing the back and forth. Thank you to all you sweet people. And she's talking about all the people in the community. So thank you for that, Bennett.
We have a lot of good optimists out there.
Yeah, we do. We love this community. Love it. Such an important part of our healing personally. So thank you for that. Closing. We'll see you on the 1st of December, if not earlier. I suspect we do earlier podcasts if we have a particular guest we want to bring on to you, or something happens in the case that we want to talk about. I think there's some things going on, Adam, that we'll probably talk to them before the 1st of December, but keep your notifications on, please. So
people are sending me messages saying, put Paige back on. They want to find out more about what Paige did on our podcast with how in the world can you give up sugar for 4 years? What is your problem? How in the world can you do that? Who has that kind of willpower? Are you crazy?
That's funny. Yeah. All right. Thank you all. And we will see you again on the 1st or sooner, probably sooner.
All right.